sectoral heat map and see as to how sectors are faring at the moment. And the bank rally that we were talking about is largely led by that PSU banks. It's up 1.9% and largely seeing that gain in the SBI that we are seeing. Nifty Realty also seeing good gains of about almost 2%. Nifty Pharma seeing gains of about 1.2%. Nifty Private Bank also is doing fairly well. So that momentum in Nifty Bank is contributed both by the private banks as well as the PSU banks. Nifty Healthcare up 1% as well. Both the Nifty Pharma and Healthcare seeing positive momentum after the kind of amendment we see in the Biosecure Act as well. Nifty Bank, we've talked about that. Nifty Auto is seeing gains of about 0.6%. But something that's slightly under pressure is your Nifty Defense and Nifty IT, down by about 0.1%. And Nifty Metals is where we're seeing profit booking today. We're seeing Hindustan Copper, Hindustan Zinc, some counters that are seeing profit booking after the kind of rally these stocks have seen. And try to pull up the advanced decline ratio because that will give us a picture as to how the broader end of spectrum is looking like, and it's not very bad. I mean, in the past 4 days, we've seen the charts narrowing by the hour till the market close, but that's not the case today. It's narrowed a tad bit, but we still have almost 2 advances versus 1 decline. So that's clearly a buyer's market today. Let's try to pull up the mid cap 150 and the small cap 250 and see as to how they have done. The mid cap 150 is up 0.4%. And the small cap 250 is also up 0.6% as well. But Puneet, any specific names that you're seeing, on the back of news, on the back of volumes, that are really buzzing in trade today?
Well, thank you for that. So it's definitely a lot more in the broader market that we're seeing today. Let's pull up the S&P 500, the BSE 500 very quickly. We'll pull up the S&P 500 tomorrow as well. But Tata Communication is one of them, which is the biggest gainer today. A lot of Tata Group stocks actually in focus on the story that my colleague Nisha put out earlier. Redington is seeing some buying as well. Yes Bank actually is up 7% right now in trade. Something like a KRBL is up 6%. Divi's Lab is continuing its positive momentum, up almost 5%. We did put out a story yesterday on Divi's Labs as well that it could get one of the biggest benefits essentially in terms of a new drug discovery that they're doing. A new opportunity largely not priced in yet in the numbers as well. But on the losing side, some, a lot of metal actually companies are actually under pressure today. Hindustan Copper is one of them. SAIL is also continuing its downward momentum, while Manappuram Finance is the other one. Tata Elxsi is, down 2.7%, came out with its results, which were largely actually in line with the estimates. Profit was also up almost 7%. But, the momentum very negative on Tata Elxsi, similar to what TCS is doing. TCS, while the results met estimates, we saw that, the number essentially on terms of attrition and in terms of reduction in employees of almost 19,700 personnel has impacted the stock price, and its new investments in AI data centers, while will be a growth factor, it is expected to be dilutive in terms of return of capital employed. But to talk more about the market, I'm now joined by Mr. Ruchit Jain. He's the Vice President, Equity and Technical Wealth Management at Motilal Oswal. Ruchit, very good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for joining in. Let me actually first start off with these IT names because, actually let me start off first with what your view is on the market, because yesterday we saw actually a very decent build-up closing at the day's high. What do you make of today's trading session and your expectations for Monday?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. Well, I think the broader market breadth speaks more about how the trend for the market is. And we can see that the advanced decline ratio clearly favoring the advances. And we are high top, high bottom structure has been in the formation in both Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty index. So we expect that the market's momentum would continue to be on the positive side. Whatever in between minor declines are being coming, they are getting bought into. On the Nifty's front, we are expecting levels around 24,450 to 25,500, where the previous swing highs are there, and that would be the next sort of resistance. But more strength is clearly seen in the banking space. If you look at last 15 days when the markets have seen an up move, the leadership or the outperformance has been seen from the banking index. The certain PSU banks or even private sector banks are participating in this up move, and that relative outperformance should lead to further momentum in the Bank Nifty index. So we are positive, have a positive outlook on the market. definitely we are not recommending more in the small cap names as of now, because if you look at the market breadth for mid cap versus small cap, while the market breadth for the mid cap has remained positive over last few trading sessions, for the small cap, the market overall breadth is not that positive. So out of last 4 sessions, for 3 sessions, the market breadth for small cap has been on the negative side. So I think selective stock or stock buying should be done, and focus should be more on the larger mid cap names or the large cap space, which are leading the markets higher.
Ruchit, what would you go ahead and buy today? Will it be more in the large cap space, or would you be venturing out to the mid cap and the small caps?
So I think a combination of both. Within the large cap space, Larsen and Toubro is one stock that we like at current levels. In fact, if you look at last 1.5 years, the stock has been into a consolidation phase. The stock has not given any returns. But the recent price volume action is turning quite bullish for the stock, and the stock is on the verge of a breakout of this 1.5 years of consolidation phase. So the risk reward ratio post this huge time-wise correction has become very much favorable for L&T at current levels. Keeping a stop loss below 3,680, we recommend to go long on L&T for potential targets around 4,000 in the near term. And PSU banking, of course, if you are a momentum trader or a short-term trader, you should not miss this rally where outperformance has been seen. PNB within this space has given a breakout from an cup and handle pattern on the weekly charts. And when you get such pattern breakout on the weekly charts, that too with very high volumes, we can expect a continuation of the uptrend going ahead. So PNB at current levels looks good for buying. One can keep stop loss below 114 and create fresh longs over here from a trading perspective for potential targets around 124.
Ruchit, what do you make of the current move in IT? Because we're not off to a very good start, at least on the fundamental side, and TCS being the benchmark, we are expecting that the furloughs will continue on the fundamental side in terms of employee reduction. We could see the attrition rate also starting to inch up. On the charts, I think, we had another guest that said that from September 2022, the low of about 2,880, that got saved on TCS. Do you have a concurrent view that we are off the lows, but what do you make of the momentum as well?
I think the result season always has been very important for IT, because what we see that how the markets react to the results and the management commentary, at least 1 quarter of price movement depends upon that. So recently we have seen that last few quarters, markets have not liked either the numbers or the management commentary, and that's why we have seen a decent underperformance in the IT space. Now, a few days ago, most of the IT stocks post the recent correction were in oversold territory. Stocks such as TCS, HCL Tech, Infosys. So we have seen a pullback move in last 6 or 7 trading sessions, but that may not result into an uptrend. But at least that could result into the trend changing from down to sideways. So we expect that at least in IT names, one should not be in a hurry to expect any kind of significant uptrend going ahead. Let some other heavyweights after this TCS stocks such as Infosys, HCL Tech, Wipro come out with the numbers and the guidance. So I think that one should take a decision whether to make fresh entry in IT names or not. But for now, it seems that the IT stocks would enter some sort of consolidation phase where maybe the price-wise worst phase has been done, but a time-wise correction can be seen going ahead.
Okay, so wait and watch for the IT names till the heavyweights come out with their earnings, is what Ruchit is saying. But viewers, with that, it's time to slip into a very short break, but we'll be right back with stock of the day, so do stay tuned.
The market's most influential voices.
The visionaries who decode the future of wealth.
Unveiling strategies, insights, and the wisdom to turn opportunities into lasting value. This Diwali, ignite your journey to prosperity.
This is where the market, money, and the masters converge for your profit.
NDTV Profit Ignite, 3 p.m. onwards, only on NDTV Profit.
A story of change, a path to renewal, a leader reimagining her nation's future.
This will be my first official visit to India as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. So looking forward to participating in the NDTV World Summit, where I will have the opportunity to engage with global leaders and thinkers.
Catch Sri Lankan Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network. She is a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit. Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
Presenting the all-knowing, all-powerful Tech Guru.
Whoa, Guru?
Welcome back to India Market Close. On to our stock of the day segment. We have Tata Communications now. The stock is up more than 10%. Let's pull up the stock very quickly. Continuing its momentum, 11.2% now. And Somit is joining us with all the key details of what's leading to this positive momentum. Somit.
In fact, Puneet, at one point of time, the stock was up as much as 15%, and this could be the biggest move that we have seen for Tata Communication in many years. Now, why is Tata Communications up in trade today? Now, this is after the announcement that has come in from TCS side, where they are saying that they will invest in data centers and they are planning to invest close to $7 billion over the next 5 to 7 years. So what could be the impact of this on Tata Communication? Firstly, do remember that Tata Communication has a large land bank and TCS will need land for developing data centers. So this land bank, that surplus land bank, what Tata Communication has at this moment, can be monetized to TCS. So that's the key biggest trigger that could come in for Tata Communication going forward. As I was mentioning, the surplus land bank gets monetizable. Apart from that, data center to data center connectivity, that business could see a big boost for Tata Communication because they provide the cables and wires, and that segment could also benefit of Tata Communication, but that is data center to data center connectivity. Apart from that, TCS management on the conference call also spoke about synergies between the group companies. Now, if TCS is getting into the data center business, there could be synergies, and Tata Communication and Tata TCS could work together. Now, apart from that, if you remember, Tata Communication had some stake in NTT, which is a data center business. They sold off majority of their stake and now own only 24%, which clearly indicates the fact that data center is not the core business of Tata Communication. Also, post TCS announcement, Tata Group has two interests in data communication via TCS and via Tata Communication, and that should not be the case and won't be the case going forward. So this increases the possibility of monetization of the stake that Tata Communication currently owns in STT. So that could be the second monetization opportunity that could come in for Tata Communications going forward, and these are broadly the reasons why Tata Communication is up in trade. Now if you look at how the analysts are currently pricing Tata Communication at this moment, 67% of them have a buy rating, 11 hold, sell, 22% of the analysts tracking the company. If you look at the consensus target price, it's at 1,890. It's largely priced in all the positives as per analysts. And if you look at the valuations, current valuations are at expensive. The 12-month forward EV to EBITDA for Tata Communication stands at around close to 11.5 times, as against the 5-year average valuation that we have seen, which stands at close to 10 times. So valuations are expensive. Stock seems to be fully priced in after today's move of 10% currently.
Well, thanks so much for that, Somit. And the analyst views that Somit also gave were of Tata Communications and not TCS. So this was something 67% buy calls on this one. But Ruchit, let me come to you. You spoke about IT. You spoke about what you make of TCS as well. Any view that you have on Tata Communication?
The overall structure looks positive because today's move has seen a breakout of that hurdle of 1750, that too with very high volumes. So the stock could continue to do well, but the only thing is that for fresh positions, the risk reward ratio as of now is not that favorable post the recent run up, because the stop losses for trading would be quite far. So one can keep a buy and dip strategy in case in the near future, if we get any sort of pullback move, one should look for fresh entry at lower levels, while existing long positions, if anyone has bought earlier, then they can continue to hold on.
All right, so that's the view with regards to where Tata Communication is concerned and what moves we've seen on the counter today. But Ruchit, with that, thank you so much for taking out the time and giving us all those insights. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. The commodity space has been buzzing, and how there's gold, which has rallied quite significantly now, though below the $4,000 mark, but silver is shining as bright as gold and as copper as well, because it's crossed the $50 mark yet again. And the question really here is whether this rally is here to sustain or not, because we've seen in the past couple of years that it's reached the $50 mark but has crashed down to the teens level. So to take this conversation ahead, we are joined by Kishore Narne from Motilal Oswal Financial Services and Siddharth Srivastava of Mirae Asset Mutual Fund joining us now. Welcome to both of you, gentlemen, and a very good morning to the both of you. Kishore, I'll come to you first. I was just talking about how silver in the past couple of years has done this earlier, right? It's touched the $50 mark but has crashed back to the teens levels. Do you think this time fundamentals are supportive enough for it to kind of not crash back to the teens levels but maybe come down to around 40s levels, or there is no holding back, the momentum is here to stay?
Good morning. And but actually, just to correct you, it didn't happen in a couple of years, but it's happened a long time back.
Okay.
So once in 1979 or something, and then the other is in 2010, 12 oddish. So it's like some time back. And both the times, actually, one is the manipulative or bubble kind of thing in 79, when the Wright brothers have tried to corner the silver market. So that's out and out bubble. Second was the liquidity driven rally, where most of the asset classes bubble was created post Lehman Brothers quantitative easing and all the liquidity which flooded the markets, actually. And silver also was one of the beneficiaries of that liquidity. But currently, what different is this time is that fundamentally silver has come into a positive territory on a commodity fundamental basis. What I mean is that the supply of silver, especially the primary silver, is much lower than the total estimated demand. So for the first time in almost 40 years, that silver first time is in the deficit. That's what we are seeing in the physical markets, where the premiums have shot up a lot. If you want physical silver today, it is trading much higher to the forwards. That means actually there is no lack of availability of the metal, number one. Number two is the buyers this time are different, in the sense these are large hedge funds and some of the family offices. Some of the buyers are ETFs, which are long term in nature. They are not speculative in nature. Generally, the ETF buyers are slightly, they hold for a longer term. So the buyers are not instinctive. Of course, is there a short term slightly overbought territory? Yes, maybe. So the corrections could be possible. Again, it's extremely difficult to predict that how much it will correct, but it will be a bull market correction, but not a trend reversal. So I can be, at least I can assure the viewers that the trend still remains intact. Of course, silver is a very volatile metal. It can correct 10-15% at any point of time if you have a news trigger sometime. So probably it can cover. But if you're looking at least 18 months to maybe 2 to 3 year kind of a perspective, we are still putting our estimated targets close to around $80 to $90. Probably in Indian terms, it can take you anywhere close to around 2.5 to 2.75 lakhs, given rupee dollar stays roughly under around $90 to $92 levels, 92 rupees per dollar levels. So the estimated targets are far higher, but absolutely in short term there could be much higher risk. So anybody who is trying to enter the markets at this point of time could stagger their buying, probably look at it. Maybe SIP kind of accumulation over dips is a better way of doing it.
Got that, Kishore. But Siddharth, let me also get you into this conversation. We've actually seen a fund house today come out and stop lump sum investments in the silver ETFs. Is that something that you are also considering at your fund? And what do you expect essentially investors to do? Would you suggest them to move into an SIP kind of investment in the silver ETFs?
Yeah, so this issue of supply is being faced by the entire industry. So we are sorts of struggling to source silver bar, which is LBMA certified from the market, and that is why the silver ETFs are trading at significant premium. Just to give you a context, on 7th of October, the rough premium over the LBMA rate was around 2,800. And yesterday it was more than 8,000. In last 9th October over 7th October, the LBMA has moved by almost 2.6% or so, but Indian prices on spot has moved up by almost 5.9% solely because of the increase in premium. While one AMC has suspended, I think others will take a call, because right now it is very difficult to sort of predict when the inventory issues will be sort of normalized, whether it will take this weekend or 1 week or 2 weeks. So once we have more information, I think we'll take the call accordingly.
Siddharth, so just a follow up to that, if the other fund houses that are have silver ETFs in their portfolio, if they continue to allow investors to continue with their SIPs, from an investor point of view, any kind of advice that you would want to give users right now? Is it a cautionary advice, or would you recommend them to continue with their SIP?
So there are two things. First is that investors are able to purchase, buy or sell ETF units from exchange, and that trading price right now has this built-in premium, which is, like I mentioned, from 2,800 levels is now at 8,000 level, and you are seeing that without any significant movement in international market. So it's only moved, let's say, $1 or so, less than $1. You are seeing NAV, which is that of ETF, move to almost by 5 rupees, right? From 149 to 154 without any significant movement in the underlying international prices. So if a person is buying silver on exchange, he should be cautious that he is buying at an higher inbuilt premium. So if international prices move up, let's say by 10%, and this premium normalizes, his realized return might only be, let's say, 7% or so. So that is first caution. Second is that people typically do SIPs in fund of funds, which are valued at the day end based on ETF closing prices. So if ETF is trading at premium, the fund of fund valuation will also be at a premium. And if they are doing SIP and SIP is getting executed in these times, then their purchase price will also be higher. So I think people can avoid buying at this point in time and resume buying when this premium normalizes.
Right.
Unless until they have a very bullish view on silver.
Right. Siddharth, you make a very good point here. So just my final question to both of you gentlemen, a quick view if possible. Would you suggest to continue your investments in something like a gold ETF compared to silver as of now, since we've seen that spread widening compared to international prices? Kishore, your view first.
I think, see, both gold and silver trend will continue. But again, for silver ETF perspective, because it's trading much higher to the spot market, so you tomorrow it will normalize. The spread will normalize, and some of the ETFs might see, if somebody is buying today, they can see some underperformance in their returns because the premiums will normalize. Maybe down the line a month or two, maybe 3 months down the line, once the supply situation rectifies. But that kind of premiums are not there in gold. So just for the technicalities purpose, gold looks better as an ETF. But as a commodity, silver will continue to outperform gold returns in the next 18 to 24 months. Silver will give you anything above 30 to 40, 60% higher return than, so let's say if gold moves up by 10%, silver will move up by 15, 17%.
Right. Fair point, Kishore. And Siddharth, quick view, would you concur with Kishore's view as well to switch to, because of the lack of premium essentially in gold, would you concur with Kishore's view on this?
Yeah, see, ultimately, if I normalize the premium and compare current premium to 3 days back, roughly in India, in equivalent terms, we are trading around $50.5 to $51 right now, compared to 49 something price which was there yesterday. So yes, from a technical point of view, I think buying gold is probably a bit more prudent because they are trading at normal levels. But we also continue to be a bit more bullish in the long term on silver. So avoid a bit for now, and depending on the price movement and near term analysis, take an informed call whether you want to buy silver at these levels or not.
Okay, Kishore and Siddharth, thank you so much for giving us those insights. I'm sure our viewers will now make a sane decision whether to invest in gold or silver. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit. All right, viewers, it's time to step into a very short break, but we'll be right back on the other side, so do stay tuned.
The market's most influential voices.
The visionaries who decode the future of wealth.
Unveiling strategies, insights, and the wisdom to turn opportunities into lasting value. This Diwali, ignite your journey to prosperity.
This is where the market, money, and the masters converge for your profit.
NDTV Profit Ignite, 3 p.m. onwards, only on NDTV Profit.
She's a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit, Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17 to 18th October on the NDTV network.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के
Welcome back. You're watching India Market Close here at NDTV Profits, where markets, are fairly stable. At the start of the show, they were trading around 0.5% higher, now around 0.46% higher, but in that same range of 25,300, so hovering around that 25,300 levels. Let's take it across to Kunal Shah, who's joining us from Miriya Asset Sharekhan, and we're also joined by Neerav Asher of Latin Manharal and Securities joining us now. Kunal, in the first 3 days of this week, we were not sure if we'll be able to, touch this 25,300 levels, but now we are touching those levels. From here on, do you think, the momentum is here to stay, or do you think there could be some pullback or time correction that we can see?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. See, I think definitely what we got a confirmation of that in yesterday's trading session only, that we are going to see the momentum on the upside. So the recent rally, what we have started from 24,600 for the Nifty indices, that has went up towards the mark of 25,500, 600 is what I'm expecting. So in the current run, we are in the fourth stage of this rally, and the last stage is now going to play out, which will take the index higher toward 25,500. So we are bullish on the indices. We expect 25,500, 600 to be achieved on the upside. For the Bank Nifty index, here also the bullish trend continues. Bank Nifty again has been one of the index where the sharp trend reversal has happened, where your private banks, where your PSU banks were already outperforming, and now the private banks participation has kicked in. So clear cut, there is a double boost for the Bank Nifty, and we expect Bank Nifty to surpass its all-time high level as well, and Bank Nifty to go towards the mark of at least 59,000, 60,000 on the upside. So Bank Nifty clear cut continues to be on the buy side. Immediate resistance is 57,000, 57,100, which is where the highest open interest is built up on the call side. Once that is taken out, then you will see the further upside move towards the mark of 57,500, 58,000 on the upside.
Okay, Kunal, what about your picks for the day?
First, the two calls, both the calls are on the buy side. First is Hudco. Hudco on the technical charts has formed a symmetrical triangle pattern, and we expect this to break out on the upside. Strong weekly closing as well for the stock, and we expect this to continue its momentum towards 245, 250 mark on the upside. So Hudco is a buy at the current levels with a stop loss of 228. Second is LNT. Again, looking extremely strong on the chart. Again, a breakout what we have got on a weekly closing basis, and we expect this to continue its outperform in the next week as well. So LNT continues to be on the buy side with a stop loss of 3680, and one can look for targets of 4,000 on the upside in the coming.
Got that, Kunal. Neerav, let me come to you as well. Very good afternoon to you. We actually had some source-based news essentially on PSU banks allowing private banks essentially to be their MD. And people essentially from the private side to become the managing directors in the bank. So that could be a very big positive even for some of the bigger names like SBI, like Bank of Baroda. What do you make of this particular space? Because Kunal definitely seeing positive momentum on the Nifty Bank, and that's what we've seen post quarter 2 updates as well. Your view?
Good afternoon, and thank you for the invites. I think yes, as you rightly pointed out, it could be a very a positive move if we could see the private sector heads joining or in a position to join the PSU banks. I think that will bring a fresh perspective and a fresh approach as far as the PSU banking space is concerned. We are seeing a lot of rationalization happen in the PSU banking space. A lot of branch rationalization is happening. A lot of M&A activity, which we have witnessed in the past. So I think the focus is on improving the operational efficiencies of the banking system, and of course, HR is going to be a very important angle. So leadership changes definitely is going to work positively as far as PSU banks are concerned.
Okay, all right. So that's with regards to where some of these banking names are concerned, and of course the development that Puneet was talking about. But some stocks that are making news and are buzzing in trade today are Natco Pharma, Lloyd's Engineering, as well as Godrej Properties and Puravankara. And Anushi joins us with all the details as to why they are buzzing. Anushi.
Hi, so I'll start off with Natco Pharma first. Now they've won a case against a drug patent case that was going on in Delhi High Court. This is by Roshi's appeal that we are looking at is on the SMA drug patent is what we are seeing. Do know that allowed Natco to launch generic Risdiplam in India, and this is to treat spinal muscular atrophy. That is what we are looking at. So that is in focus. We're seeing about a 3% of an uptick over there. Lloyd's Engineering, another counter in focus. This is after they've signed a MOU with Fly Focus. This is to jointly develop and manufacture Defender Signet UAVs is what we are seeing. Apart from that, Puravankara also we are seeing the second quarter business update as well for this particular counter. If you just look at the second quarter numbers, pre-sales are up around 4%, while H1 pre-sales are up around 4%. That's remained on the muted side. Collections also we are looking at an 8% of an uptick in this quarter. However, in terms of GDV acquisitions, they've expanded their portfolio by adding projects worth about 9,100 crore in the first half of FY26 as well. Godrej Properties, again we are talking about the real estate space, and this is passing on the back of a Morgan Stanley note wherein they've maintained an equal rating on this particular stock, but they expect the share price of this particular counter to rise over the next 60 days is what they are seeing. This is on the back of robust Q2 pre-sales that they're expecting at the levels of around 9,300 crore or so, and again they expect that this should mark a sharp recovery from a muted Q1 that we'd seen for this particular counter. So these are a couple of stocks which are buzzing in terms of the news that are happening.
Okay, Vanushi, thank you so much for bringing us those details. Kunal, Godrej Properties or Puravankara, any of these real estate names on your radar?
I think real estate has been one sector which has been an underperformer in the recent times, and now we are seeing some base formation happening at the lower levels. You might see the resistance coming at 925, 930 for the Nifty Reality Index, currently trading at 897. So you have a decent 20-30 points upside from the current level. So out of that, DLF is something which I'm keeping an eye on. Today, the stock has given us a fresh breakout on the technical charts and can go higher towards the mark of 760, 770 in the very short term.
Same question to you as well, Nirav. Anything in the real estate space that you're bullish on right now?
Well, I think we also like DLF, and apart from that, we started liking Marathon Gen Next and Ajmera Realty because of the prospects in the Navi Mumbai region.
Right, there's breaking news that you're seeing on the bottom of your screen right now, and that is Maria Corina Machado has been awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize because she spent years working for the freedom of Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan regime was rigid in terms of holding on to power and its repression of the population that are not very well known to the world out there. But she's managed to hold elections there, and we've been seeing those trends globally as well. But she's managed to do that and has won the Nobel Peace Prize 2025.
You know what's interesting to me, and they don't give out this data, but if Donald Trump was even on the list, that's something which I wanted to know, because he wanted definitely one of the Peace Prize was, but of course a lot of great work being done by Maria Corina Machado as well. But we'll take a quick break. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit. A lot more coming on the next side.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
She's a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit. Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network.
The market's most influential voices.
The visionaries who decode the future of wealth.
Unveiling strategies, insights, and the wisdom to turn opportunities into lasting value. This Diwali, ignite your journey to prosperity.
This is where the market, money,
Welcome back to India Market Close right here on NDTV Profit. We're now going to our bull versus bear segment today, and we've chosen TCS. The stock is down more than 1% in trade today post its Q2 earnings. They reported a decent set of numbers which didn't meet estimates, but a lot more to talk about. My colleague Jasmeet is now joining in to give us a bull and a bear case for TCS. Jasmeet, over to you.
Well, right, thank you for that. So TCS comes up with the Q2 results. When we look at the results are beat in the estimates. Well, let's quickly understand, even though they beat in the estimates, why did the stock react negatively in trade today? Going to the first bull case, the restructuring is underway for the company to be future ready, which is a positive for the company given that they're working towards the AI. But on the other hand, the restructuring is impacting on the profitability. It's adding up the cost. In this quarter, we see that a cost of roughly 1,200 odd crores dragging down the profits, and profit was nearly minus 5% down for this particular quarter. If we look at the next bull case, we see that the company is confident about the H2 given the healthy deal momentum for the following quarters. But given the healthy momentum, we also see the demand still remains stagnant and weak across vertical. That's another thing to watch out for. If we look at the third bull case, we see that the company is confident about the data center investment as it would create a systematic annual revenue from here on. But on the other hand, we have Jefferies coming up and saying that this will give a limited upside to the data center, given that data centers will have an higher investment and it wouldn't give the return given that TCS deals in asset-light industries and data center would add up to the more asset to the company. Well, look at the other aspect, we see that the company is exploring a lot of acquisitions options for the long-term growth. This is nearly after 3 quarters the company is looking to acquire more companies. But this would also create a hint given that there could be internal capability issues with the company given that they're acquiring entities outside. If we look at the valuation part, we see that the current valuation is at a 5-year low and it's the cheapest it has been in last 5 years. But on the other hand, if we look at the performance, it's the most underperformed among Nifty IT. It's nearly down 25 odd percentage. Lastly, we'll quickly understand what are the analysts saying on the same. The buy is at 36 while the hold are given by 10 analysts and the sell is by 5. If we look at the return potential, it's nearly down 26 odd percentage as of date.
Got that, Jasmeet. Thanks so much for that as well. But we caught up with the management, K. Krithivasan, the MD and CEO of the company. In fact, he talks about in great detail about the total contract value and what is also giving the optimism when it comes to FY26 and the expectations. Listen into what he had to say.
So first on TCV, definitely we had a $10 billion TCV supported by strong increase in BFSI in our consumer business and spread throughout the world. And it also has a good mix of renewals as well as new projects. So we are very comfortable with the TCV, and it puts us in the right place for future growth. In coming to the other point related to will FY26 be better than 25? See, we had a weak H1, and we believe based on the conversations we are having with the customer with the TCV we are signing, we believe our H2 will be better than H1. And by that token, at this time, I'm quite hopeful that FY26 could international revenue of 26 could be better than 25.
Got that, and we largely had that management speaking on a key aspect of employees, why he's expecting FY26 to be better than FY25 as well. But Nirav, your view on the stock, because we've seen a material change in further investments in data centers, but it is a lower return on capital employed vertical compared to the IT services. Do you have a view on TCS, and does it expect to be sideways as of now?
Well, honestly, when we saw the results, we thought that it's a better than expected set of numbers. It's beaten the estimates, and there was an exceptional item of 1,135 crores, which is on account of restructuring. So overall, it seemed that the margins seemed to be all right, but I think what really spoiled the picture was the non-disclosure of the details regarding the headcount. Now it is being spoken that around 19,800 people have lost their jobs at TCS, and I think that could be a spoiler as far as the company is concerned. Apart from this, I think this investments in AI related businesses, I think seems to be a little bit too late at this point of time. So the market has taken it negatively. And overall, I think it's a cash-rich company, so it can consider certain inorganic initiatives too.
Okay, so that's with regards to where TCS is concerned. But moving on, it's that time of the show where my colleague Somit Sarkar joins us with all the chatter that he is hearing from the dealing room. And Somit, what are you hearing today?
Strong gains across the market that we are seeing. In fact, 25,200, which was a big resistance, has also markets are even higher beyond that level. In fact, now we are hovering around the 25,300 level. So key thing to watch now here is whether these gains will sustain or not going forward. But stock specific action, what dealers are indicating, pharma names Lupin and Cipla both continue to remain in focus. There are strong buy flows on both these pharma names. For Lupin, dealers are indicating that the planned clearance news could come in anytime soon. And when it comes to Cipla, couple of announcements are expected. Some tie-up announcement is what the street is indicating, and the second could be a drug launch announcement also expected very soon in case of Cipla. When it comes to HFCL, strong buy flows. Dealers are expecting that the second quarter number could be very strong. In fact, after reporting 2 consecutive quarters of losses, the company might report strong profits in the second quarter of FY26. When it comes to Maruti Suzuki and the Leela Hotel, there are buy flows on institutional desks. Both FI and DI have been accumulating this counter. Dealers are expecting strong set of numbers from both the names, that is Maruti and the Leela Hotel, in the second quarter compared to what the street estimates are. And lastly, when it comes to DLF and SBI, dealers indicate that there are strong buy flows on the domestic institutional desk in trade today. So keep an eye out for both these names, DLF and SBI as well.
Okay, Swami, thank you so much for bringing us those details. Kunal, I'll quickly come to you. Any of these names on your radar? HFCL, Lupin, he talked about Maruti Suzuki, Leela Hotels, DLF. Any of these on your radar?
I think definitely they are looking quite strong on the chart. My preferred pick over here would be Maruti. Maruti has been already trading in a strong uptrend, and we have seen a fresh breakout in today's trading session. So again, the recent swing high what it had made of 16,435, that will be taken out. I'm expecting Maruti to go towards the mark of 16,600. So Maruti is a buy for me. 16,600 to 17,000 is what you can expect in the stock in the very short term.
Okay, Kunal. All right. So that's with regards to where these counters are concerned. But with that, viewers, again, it's time to spin a very short break. But on the other side, we'll get you small cap buzzers as well as BTST calls. So do stay tuned.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
She's a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit. Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network.
Welcome back to India Market Close right here on NDTV Profit. But a key news that we've been tracking since yesterday, the Tata Trust meeting is still underway and the signs of a truce are visible. This is the first time the Trust members are meeting after the feud for the board seat in the Tata Sons broke out. My colleague Nisha Podar joins us with exclusive details on what she's picking up on the forward for the corporate battle. Nisha, over to you.
Thanks for that. Yes, it's a crucial day for the Tata Trust's clash that we have been reporting on, because this is the first time that the Tata Trust members are meeting after their conflict on the board seat of Tata Sons has really broken out in public. So it is the time to really see which way Tata Trusts is going to go. In fact, sources with direct knowledge have shared with NDTV Profit that the board meet of Tata Trusts is running smoothly, and that the discussions are on the charitable work as well as the philanthropic activities. In fact, a day before this, in the run-up to this meeting also, we have been reporting that the signs of truce between the two camps of Noel Tata on one side and Mehli Mistry on the other has been really taking place because of two factors. First, of course, the government intervention coming in, and the second, of course, that it was an important day of Ratan Tata's death anniversary as well, and that brought to fore the question of the legacy that Ratan Tata left for the Tata Group. So in that context, we did speak to one of the sources close to Mehli Mistry, and we did hear that he has hugely softened his stance, not interested in a board seat at the current moment, and also is not under any pressure to distance himself from Tata Trusts, and therefore was expecting a smooth functioning and more of a conciliatory approach toward the other trust members. More to be seen when the meeting really ends. It's a half a day long meeting and still underway. What we gather is that it has been smooth, no fireworks expected, at least at the moment.
No fireworks until now, but thanks so much for that, Nisha, getting us key perspective on this very, very crucial news to say the least. Let me actually go across to Kunal, ask a couple of names on the Tata board, because we saw some key movers in stocks like Tata Communication. Kunal, that largely seems to be with what's happening with TCS and its announcement on the AI data center venture. Any view on Tata Communication as well as your quick view on TCS as well?
Yeah, I think firstly on Tata Communication, the stock had been an underperformer. Now today is the weekly closing for the stock, so the resistance of 1800 has been taken out decisively on a closing basis, and there has been above average volumes as well. So you might get a dip towards that 1820, 1830 zone where your risk to reward ratio will be favorable. Probably at those levels one can go long and then can look for targets of 2100 on the upside. For TCS, again, TCS continues to consolidate in a narrow range. Over here, we will have a buy and dip approach. Dips towards the support zone would be a buying opportunity. The support zone is placed at the mark of 2950. So if you get a dip towards 2950, 2960, good point of entry. One can keep a stop loss on the downside of 2860, and one can look again for targets of 3200 on the upside.
All right, so that's with regards to where Tata Communication and TCS is concerned. But let's try to pull up the Nifty Metal Index and see as to how and what counters are seeing pain there. The Nifty Metal is down by about 0.84%, but if you can pull up the constituents, there you go. Except for just Adani Enterprises, all the other in the red. There's Hindustan Copper. There's also something like a SAIL, Hindustan Zinc, which are seeing significant amount of pressure. Nirav, I'll quickly come to you. We've seen a good rally in the past few days for Hindustan Copper, Hindustan Zinc. Today we are seeing a good correction on these counters, but fundamentally there's still a further upside is what the analysts are believing. Do you also concur to what they are saying, and do you think that this is a good time to buy on the dips?
Well, actually, it's advisable to keep a stop loss at this point of time as far as the metal counters are concerned, because they've run up quite a lot. And it's always important to remember that whenever the metals tend to rally, it's on account of a couple of reasons. One is the increased demand as well as supply side constraints. This time around, it's a combination of both. So I think one needs to be extra cautious as far as these counters are concerned, and needs to trade with a strict stop loss.
Got the view, Nirav. But Kunal, actually, let me get your quick view also on these metals plays. Hindustan Copper, actually, I know we've spoken to you when the big capex was announced. Anything in the metal side that you like, Kunal?
I think firstly, I'll give you an view on the metal index. So metal index, we have been constructively bullish on the entire space since the mark of 9,500, 600 from where the breakout had come in. Currently, the index is trading at 10,258 zone, and we have a positional target of 11,300 on the index. And that is where we are bullish on the entire space. Any dips in the metal sector could be a good buying opportunity over here to accumulate the sector. For me, the top pick over here would be Hindalco. Again, the stock has already given us a double top breakout on the technical charts, and now we have seen the correction getting over, and now we will see further upside into the stock. So Hindalco continues to be on the buy side with a stop loss of 740, which is the strong support zone. I'm expecting the stock to go towards 820, 840 in the very short term.
All right, it's time to step into a very quick break, but do stay tuned. Profit Ignite on the other side.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
She's a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit. Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network. A story of change. A path to renewal. A leader reimagining her nation's future.
This will be my first official visit to India as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. So looking forward to participating in the NDTV World Summit, where I will have the opportunity to engage with global leaders and thinkers.
Catch Sri Lankan Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network. Presenting the all-knowing, all-powerful Tech Guru.
Whoa, 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 Guru? I'm no guru.
Okay.
I'm just a guy who loves his tech.
A show where the mysteries of megabytes and motherboards shall be unraveled.
Bro, nobody talks like that anymore. This is all about connected ecosystems, EVs and AI that you can use in your daily life. That's what we do on Tech 360. Real talk, real reviews, tech that you can actually use.
Tech has changed. So should your tech show.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term? Buy, sell or hold?
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Welcome back to India Market Close right here on NDTV Profit. But Nirav, let me come to you. We saw some key updates coming in on the Biosecure Act, and that could be a key beneficiaries for a lot of pharma players, the likes of Divi's, Newland Labs. Now that the overhang is gone, do you like anything in this particular space?
I think we continue to like Divi's Labs. And apart from this, we also like Biocon from medium to long term perspective. These are the two bets in this particular space.
Let's actually pull up, how Syngene, Newland Labs, Jubilant Pharma, Piramal Pharma, a lot of these counters that got that benefit because of that. Syngene up almost, 1.68%. We've also seen a positive move on, I think, Newland Labs as well. Let's pull up that also very quickly. So 2.4% on Jubilant Pharmova. Newland Labs is up 4.3% as we speak. Kunal, any of these names that you feel that the momentum could continue on these?
Yeah, I think Newland Lab looks the best place at the current levels. Neat and clean breakout has come in on the technical charts, and you can expect further momentum on the upside. The support for the stock on the downside is placed at 15,500, and you can expect the stock to go towards the mark of 18,000 in the very short term.
The other counter that will remain in focus tomorrow, I mean, of course, the markets are not open, but Avenue Supermarts is the counter that will come out with its earning tomorrow. And just to give viewers a perspective of what you can expect from the earnings, the business update, of course, had come in and where standalone revenue growth stood around 15.4%. But overall, on a consolidated level, the revenue growth is expected to be at around 14.6%. EBITDA around 13% is the kind of increase that we are expecting. Margins may be at the same levels as they were in Q2 FY25 at around 7.4% versus 7.6%, and profit may rise just about 1% is what the Bloomberg estimates are suggesting. In terms of what to expect, well, estimates are suggesting that implied same-store sales growth could be around that 3 to 4% mark. Margins, however, if comes as a surprise, could see an inching up, although Bloomberg estimates right now are not suggesting that. Throughput to continue to be impacted because of competitive intensity, which is, being given by these quick commerce players, plus the small city stores that are...
Much for joining us to celebrate your favorite time of the year. For generations, this festival has brought family and friends together. And this time around, we have several reasons to cheer. Diwali, of course, signifies the movement of individuals, of people, from darkness into light. It signifies so much more. It is a time of closing of books and the writing of new beginnings, new chapters. It is a time to invite Goddess Lakshmi into our homes, and we believe an opportunity to ignite our hearts and minds with the hope and belief of a prosperous future for our country and its businesses. This is Diwali edition of NDTV Profit Ignite, and I'm your host, Alex Matthew. We're coming to you live from the heart of Mumbai at Sofitel BKC. And I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our distinguished guests, stalwarts of industry and markets. And to all of you tuning in from your homes and possibly from your offices as well. The conversations today, we hope, will help you chart a course through somewhat 2082 with surety and confidence. NDTV Profit Ignite, Diwali edition, is brought to you by our co-presenting partners, NSE and Usha, with banking partner Canara Bank, co-powered by Bank of Baroda and supported by our associate partners, SBI Mutual Fund and Tata Capital. I want you to look around the room and feel the energy that is buzzing right here. It's festive cheer, of course, but I already see from the faces in front of me that there is one thing that unites all of us, and it is the hope and the dream and the belief that we're marching towards a successful future, not just for the people in this room, but for everybody in this vast and beautiful country. So find your seats, settle in, and get ready as we gear up to lay the foundation for your profit. All right, now to officially kickstart things, let's get on stage Tamanna Inamdar, the managing editor of NDTV Profit.
Thank you for that warm welcome, Alex, and welcome to all of you on this Friday evening. We're just getting into the weekend mood. Yes, markets are still on, but we all know that the action is now winding down. So welcome everyone to the NDTV Profit Ignite Diwali edition. This is a very exciting idea that we're kicking off here. So I'm going to start by talking a bit about what is Ignite. What does Ignite mean for you? Is it setting something ablaze? Revving up your engines? Well, to me, it is a mind waking up to the knowledge and clarity in a fast changing, dynamic, and let's admit it, sometimes hostile world. The word ignite also to me means hope. This is something we all really need, and the overwhelming sentiment is one of hope. Yes, there is a tariff attack. We all wake up every day, wondering what the headline is coming in from the United States. But there's also hope that the Indian consumer, the Indian investor is hungry for growth. They will buy more, and not just TV, fridges, AC, real estate. They're also going to invest in their futures, in the markets. Look at the kind of action coming in right now in the primary markets. 4.6 lakh crore rupees worth of money is in just 2 IPOs, and there are at least 100 in this month. So there is certainty that India is now unstoppable, and all the red on the trading screen cannot change this. So our thought at NDTV Profit is to go beyond the regular coverage that you see every year before Diwali. Yes, we all do it, but this time we thought we should do something different. The idea is to ignite new opportunities and a renewed outlook. So look around. This is an intimate gathering of people who live, breathe, and celebrate the India growth story. Now, whether it's equities, insurance, consumption, or adopting the power of AI. With eminent market personalities that you will hear from today, Ashish Kumar Chauhan with us today. You'll hear from Manish Chokhani, Ramesh Damani, Nilesh Shah, Vijay Kedia, and the Mittal brothers who have democratized market information. How many of you all have that app on your phone right now? So because of this, you have unlimited access to the ideas of tomorrow. So as we celebrate Diwali and step into Samvat 2082, this edition is about renewal, optimism, and strategic action. So welcome again to NDTV Profit Ignite. Let me bring back Alex to kick off the day.
That perfectly sets the tone, I think, for the conversation. But to say that we want to reach out to crores of individuals, we say it quite often in the media business, and we've been saying it over the last few weeks and months. It's not an overstatement, because at the last count, we had over 13 crore unique investors in the securities market, and that number is growing extremely rapidly. It is, of course, our mission at NDTV Profit to equip our viewers and people that are tuning in with the information that they need to succeed. And it's important now because the capital markets are changing so rapidly that information asymmetry that was visible even a decade or less than a decade ago is now dwindling very quickly. We've had a fantastic journey in investor addition over the course of the 5 years, in particular post-COVID-19, but now we may just be at the precipice of the next big expansion in investor participation. And who better to talk about this rapidly changing landscape than someone who is at the heart of it? Please join me in welcoming on stage the Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer of the National Stock Exchange, Ashish Kumar Chauhan. Please, sir, make your way. Big round of applause, please. And to speak to him, just to set the tone for this entire conclave, please, Tamanna, make your way to the stage.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that, Alex. Ashish ji, welcome. I can't think of anyone better to talk about the optimism and hope that the Indian markets are seeing right now than Ashish Kumar Chauhan. This is a true believer for the last 3 decades. Even when markets have gone through its worst, even when National Stock Exchange has gone through its worst, he is the SOS call that was made to rev things up. Ashish ji, आजकल आपके कैलेंडर भरे हुए होंगे IPO लिस्टिंग से. हाँ, to start with, रोज हम आपको देखते हैं, we cut to the freshest listing every day on NDTV Profit and we see Ashish ji with some company or the other who's ringing the bell. Now, the day when there are 4 or 5 IPOs, who do you choose with whom you will ring the bell?
No, thank you, and happy Deepavali to all your viewers. I think it's a great time for India, a great time to be Indian. And naturally, sometimes we do have 4 or 5 listings in a single day, and sometimes in various parts of India we have bell, so people can select to also do it in their city. But sometimes we have like 4 or 5 listings in NSE building itself, and sometimes they use my room also to ring the bell. So I have to vacate my room for the bell ringing ceremony. So that's how so many happened. And of course, whoever is doing the listing on the atrium, which is where the largest number of listings happen, I try to be there, but I try to also go and take photo at the end with all the listed companies just for the sake of record.
Yeah, I think the booking for Ashish ji right now must be more than any star in Bollywood, because the number of listings and the amount of his time, aapka calendar must be fully blocked, I'm sure.
And I mean, I usually don't know, but I go to the same time and then they tell me go there and I have to do the listing. So it's like a priest job, like a pujari job in the temple. You have to wake up at 5 and do it. Whichever judgment comes, you have to still do the same thing, right? So that's how I do it for last so many years.
No, but jokes apart, what it's telling us is how robust the primary market has become. Because look at the range of companies coming in. There are giant IPOs right now. There's LG, there's Tata Capital. There are smaller IPOs. You might see listing gains in some. Others don't have such a great listing. Nevertheless, it's telling you about the appetite of the Indian business community and the investor. You've seen this for so many decades. How do you look at this trend?
In a way, stock markets were not considered that important in the overall scheme of things in terms of the macroeconomics, in terms of policy making for almost 70 years. And the entire planning model which we sort of adopted in terms of the Mahalanobis model initially by Prime Minister Nehru and things like that, we were very impressed by the what I call the planned economy. And so the stock markets, usually in a socialist country, they get closed down. Fortunately, they didn't close stock markets down when we became independent. And so we have a tradition, but they were like considered a little nuisance to be tolerated rather than a mainstream. But once the NSE came in, that's same time the liberalization also happened. And so slowly, the market cap, which used to be probably 3,70,000 crores or give and take a little that time, has now in 30 years time has now become 460 lakh crore, right? Almost 125, 130 times. And that tells you that most people are now trusting stock markets. More importantly, more than stock markets, they are trusting the entrepreneurs. For me, 78 years of India's independence, what have we earned as a nation is that our small investors' trust in our entrepreneurs is what we have earned, right?
That's a personal story for you. I don't know if many people know this, lekin scam ke victim aap bhi rahe hain. The Harshad Mehta scam.
Yes.
Tell us about that, because what a journey we've made from losing faith in Indian capital markets to, I would say, having blind faith. The SIP numbers from today is telling you that. Dunya mein kuch bhi ho jaye, the Indian investor is standing strong.
No, in my own story, I started my first job in 91, where we were having a balance of payment crisis. And just out of a MBA college, you thought you were the smartest, which is what the exuberance of youth with some amount of sort of training gives you, and overconfidence. And so my salary was 3,000 rupees and I lost 50,000 rupees in the Harshad Mehta scandal. And so it took me a long time to recoup and pay back and stuff. But idea is not to over leverage, not to trade in things which you don't understand, and don't trade in derivatives.
But I'm going to stop you there. Just think of that. 3,000 rupees was the salary. He was leveraged at 50,000 rupees, which he lost. There are enough people out there today, and no, there is no scam, but who are as leveraged. What is the caution for them?
No, leverage is the ultimate problem for companies, when things turn, people who are leveraged are not able to handle themselves, and that's about companies true, but it's also more about individuals. That companies have at least a bankruptcy process in India now. Earlier they were not there. But individuals have no bankruptcy process. So you get stuck for very, very long period in life, and that's why don't leverage, especially for trading or investing. If you have money, first go for house, get some insurance, go for some fixed deposits, save yourself first. After that, 5-10% of your total net worth, if you invest in stock markets, it's okay. But if you are an investor, you are okay. If you think by buying in the morning and selling in the afternoon is called investment, it is not. Although Tamanna might try hard to do the stop loss stuff and all, please don't even get involved. And even if I try, and I'm considered a person who brought derivatives, but it's a very sophisticated instrument. It's not for retail investors. Please don't ever come to this derivatives market if you don't understand it.
You've given me the perfect cue to what I wanted to ask you. Derivatives market, the regulator is going hammer and tongs. You have a very large brokerage player who's saying that their revenues from this space has gone down 40%. What is it looking like for the National Stock Exchange? Are you seeing some of that action drying up?
No, we are. Of course, even when the new regulations were coming up, we had said that this is going to affect revenues by 40 to 60%, and people were not believing. I think even on your channel, there are recordings which say that's not going to affect. But we know, and there are cycles. So what happens is the cycle actually matched with the new regulations coming in play last year, and the market slowed down. At the same time, the new regulations on derivatives both came together. In case they had not synchronized, probably the fall in the revenues would have been much lesser if the markets were going up even further. Then you would have seen some inflow even in derivatives at that time. But since the markets also didn't give great returns in last 1 year, and also the new derivatives regulations came, you saw the interest going down. So at some point in peak, I think January, February, probably 24, we were running 30-40 lakh people trading every month in derivatives. Now probably 20-22 lakhs in that range are trading in derivatives. So you can see even the number of people trading in derivatives are coming down and things like that, the unique investors.
But you do have now, you're planning new options for daily expiry, but for foreign investors?
No, it's again, the GIFT City market is for the foreigners or for the sophisticated people. So that's a different market. It's not the same market. And there, for the knowledge of the viewers, that market has options available even for monthly. Nobody trades monthly options there also, neither weekly, because that market does not have STT. And that market trades only futures for last 25 years. When it was in Singapore, when it is in GIFT City for last 3 years. Why? It's because India has a huge differential on a notional basis between the STT applicable to the futures versus options. That is, the options is charged on premium and futures are charged on notional. That's where there is an arbitrage, as I call it, tax arbitrage. That's why the Indian market from 2008 started going more towards options premium. 2004, when the STT was employed, that time the options premium plus the notional were charged the STT, and futures were charged on notional. So both had equivalent. That time, 2004 to 2008, there was no difference in terms of the trading volume in notional basis between options and futures. As soon as you went on premium charge, it took off. And now at the same time, if you look at the other way around, that the notional traded, that what is actual value traded in options is even now probably 1/4 or 1/5 of futures, even in the local markets. And that's why many times we make up things on notional basis, many times we make up things on premium basis. So like I think 3 months back or 4 months back, we were in a debate and somebody said that we are trading so much notional, and I said that basically what is traded is actually the premium part, not the notional, right? And but we are the largest derivatives trading country in the world. And I said, no, that is not true, because what is traded is premium. In America today, on a monthly basis, they trade almost 4 or 5 times more than India's total derivatives premium. If you take options to options, and sometimes Tesla options alone, Tesla's options trade more than the entire derivatives market of India for months. And so we have made up in our mind that grapes trade more in numbers, whereas the watermelons trade less in numbers. We are selling grapes and we are largest. That doesn't work, and that's what we have made up. We have been made to believe by whatever incessant stuff that is going on. But we are not the largest derivatives market in the world by miles. We are like 20% of just the options market of America.
No, but the hunger is there. We saw it, and that's why the government stepped in. Just before we wrap, I think I want to talk a bit about what is happening in the markets right now. And there's one figure which has an impact almost every day, who's sitting in the United States, who wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Do you think, Chauhan Saab, who do you think will get the Nobel Peace Prize today?
No, today, at least yesterday night, the news came that it's for the next year. So he has to perform better like all of us.
Why are you talking?
So he has been given a carrot, and so he has to run more. Hopefully either he will lose interest or something else will happen. But in case he works harder for next 1 year, then world will have peace, right? Either PIEC or PEAC, right? That is the difference between the two.
So, as we're going into closing bell, and we'll do that in just a minute, your one advice very quickly for the Indian investor: will we see new highs on the Nifty, you think, by the time we hit the Samvat?
I hope it does. And today, I think yesterday's Prime Minister's tweet on his talk with Mr. Trump, yesterday's a summit meeting with the Prime Minister UK, and of course his talk with even Prime Minister of Israel. I think overall things are turning better for India. Last almost 9-10 months were what I call weak because of the uncertainties coming out of tariffs, specifically on India. If it turns good, and that's what today's market, I mean, if you see today's market, it started going up and now 0.5% up, which is like a surprise to me in last 6 months, right? And so I think it's good days coming, and hopefully before this Samvat ends, we would be in that higher zone.
That's a true market master. आप कहीं पे भी बैठे हो, भाव पर एक नजर है. Thank you so much, Ashish Kumar Chauhan, for speaking with us. A warm round of applause for the ultimate bull of the Indian market.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to the both of you for a lovely conversation. Please stay where you are, because, as they say, as I said at the start, some things draw to a close and new things begin. And of course, Diwali is all about that. You close one chapter and you start a new one. And of course, we're waiting for a couple of minutes to symbolically close the market day so that we can put all of our attention to what is happening on stage. And I wouldn't blame some of the market men, market women here for keeping one eye glanced at their screen to figure out what the latest bhav is. Of course, closing bell is just a couple of minutes away, and we're going to do it symbolically right here, and we're going to call a few people on stage to do that. Of course, 2 of them already here. Ashish Kumar, can you please make your way to the NSE bell? You've done this often enough. You can lead the platoon. Tamanna, please make your way as well. And to join them on stage, I would like to call Rahul Kanwal, NDTV Network's Chief Executive Officer and Editor-in-Chief, Mandeep Singh as well, Revenue Head of Television Network NDTV, as well as NDTV Profit's own Neeraj Shah. Neeraj, make your way to the stage, please. What we're going to do in this room is we're going to count it down for them because they can't really see the time. We'll play this up on your screen right here, and we're going to count it down for you. Everybody is going to count with me, so make sure that you have your voices ready. Of course.
She's going to teach us how to do it. बताइए sir, क्या करना है?
So at the right time, what happens is the market, the people start clapping like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like that. Yeah, it started.
7.
So, and now you have to ring the bell very hard. If you ring harder, at 1, yeah. 1.
There you go.
And I tell the promoters and the managing directors, saying, if you ring bell harder and many times, and if it's done well, then prices go up.
Then let's ring it. Then we should ring it more, right?
So everyone is like very enthusiastic.
So many people sitting in the audience, they might want to come and say, "Hum bhi thoda sa ghanti baja."
Yes. And so bell is here after the event. All of you are welcome.
Thank you so much. But it's fantastic that you agreed to have this symbolic and beautiful bell brought here. Thank you very much for that. And thank you, Ashish ji, for joining Tamanna and the NDTV Profit team here. It means a lot to have you here and to have your support as we get set for the new Samvat. You're super excited about the year ahead?
Absolutely. No, I think next year we are going to do much better than what we did last year. The monsoon has been great. And India, in a way, runs on monsoon, right? So the demand comes out of the crops and the monsoon, and of course the new ways of doing things, the new sort of tie-ups on many areas with the rest of the world is going to take us to newer ways of doing things.
Also, I hope you're watching NDTV Profit a lot.
Absolutely, you can come to my office and you can see.
And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing because you're being watched. It's the bad thing was that those many calls of complaints as well, which again is a good thing because see, as you talk about the year and everything that's being done, Neeraj, Tamanna and the entire Profit team is also working super hard on building a world-class financial news product, and therefore it's good that you're watching, and I hope you can see some churn and improvement as well.
No, absolutely. I think the NDTV Profit has come a long way since it was relaunched. And so I'm pretty pleased that what we require for the investors is the correct advice, correct information, and in a right way. Because if you work on trading incessantly, you are not investing in a productive capital. What we require is productive investments, long-term investments, and everyone who trades in a way, especially frequently, is losing a lot of money just on the transaction charges. Don't do that. Invest for the long term.
The Samvat can change. Ashish ji's advice stays the same. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching Profit in the way that you're doing. We'll keep working very hard over the year and hopefully have you back at many more such conversations. This was the Diwali edition. There'll be a budget edition, and there'll be many more, and we hope to have you for many of those as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before you make your way off the stage, please can you make your way to the center of the stage for a quick photo op.
Alex, why don't you join us?
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
A story of change, a path to renewal, a leader reimagining her nation's future.
This will be my first official visit to India as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. So looking forward to participating in the NDTV World Summit, where I will have the opportunity to engage with global leaders and thinkers.
Catch Sri Lankan Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network. She's a ballerina who defies gravity, a quantum physicist who decodes the universe. At the NDTV World Summit, Merit More brings science and art together to show us how imagination can bend the boundaries of possibility. Catch ballerina and quantum physicist Merit More at the NDTV World Summit. Live and exclusive at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th to 18th October on the NDTV network. Presenting the all-knowing, all-powerful Tech Guru.
Whoa. Guru? I'm no guru.
Okay.
I'm just a guy who loves his tech.
Have a seat, gentlemen. We'll have a small window for questions from the audience, so keep them ready. In order to keep this lively, please keep it very short. But then, before we get to that, Neeraj Shah, the Executive Editor Markets at NDTV Profit, please join us on stage. Everybody, you know Neeraj, put your hands together.
The mics to your right are yours. Okay, so the idea of this panel was to try and understand how is it that all of us can best use AI in our investing process, because AI has has permeated all our lives in multiple ways, and if we can actually use AI to improve our research abilities and thereby our stock picking abilities, then it will go a long way in trying to make all of us better investors. And who better than people who are kind of developing the tools in their own platforms, which are used by millions of Indians, to tell us how is it that AI has permeated their platforms and what is it that they think about the use of AI. So gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. Ayush, I'll start with you. Screener वैसे तो perfect था, right? Then you thought that, okay, there is so much that Screener has done, but we want to introduce AI as well, right? So where did this thought come from, and how do you guys contemplate using AI in your own journeys around investing?
First of all, Neeraj and NDTV Profit, thank you for inviting us and making us part of your prestigious program. NDTV is doing a great job, and we are really thankful for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
For all the viewers, Happy Diwali from our side. Wish you a very prosperous Samvat. My dad started investing almost 30-40 odd years back, and since then it has been we have seen how the information data has been evolving. Earlier, when he started his journey, it was very hard to even get an annual report on time. We only used to get an annual report maybe 6 months or a year after the year was over. So it was so hard, and I started just helping him out on collating data better, and that is where Screener was born when Pratyush joined us. So it has been an effort where we struggle on the data points, we tried automating them, providing all our users maximum data point which can be made available, so that people can do better research, minimize their mistakes, and take better informed decision making. So that has been the objective. From what started off with an effort to have more data, today it's the opposite. I think thanks to the regulatory framework, the way the compliances are, the way the companies have opened up with so many listings that are happening that we talked about today, the data out there is humongous. And for an investor like me, it was becoming super hard to even absorb or understand all this data which is out there. And if you don't act fast well enough, then you're far behind. So that is where, as we started working on AI, how it is evolving, we understood the power of AI. Today, maybe Pratyush can talk how the technology is evolving, but that is where we found so many use cases which were very powerful, which were helping me in my own personal investing journey. And that is where we have tried to automate, and we have brought out Screener AI.
Okay. Pratyush, you want to add to that? Because when one uses AI, you figure out that there are 1,000 pieces on X, for example, कि use this prompt. ये prompt use करो तो अच्छा result आएगा. ये prompt use करो तो शायद अच्छा ना आए. Right? Both you guys have kind of developed great products for usage. How do you think of using AI in the investing journey? Because I'm guessing some of those things you imbibe in your platform as well. We start with you and then go to Sumit.
Sure. So first of all, thanks a lot for this event and thanks for the invite and very happy Diwali to everyone. Regarding AI, it is a very exciting time. हम लोग बहुत lucky है इस time पे जहाँ पे इतना अच्छा developments हो रहा है. This is the first time there are AI models which can understand natural language and they are able to process documents. And as Priya said that the huge amount of documents are increasing today and it's very hard to keep track of all the annual reports, DRHPs, announcements. Every day more than 3,000 announcements are made on the exchange. And that's where these new tools, new models are very useful in summarizing them, filtering them, finding out just out of 3,000 announcements, which ones are the important announcements that I should be looking at. Within a con call transcript, what were the main things that were talked about? Give me a summary of it. And that's where that AI power is very useful. On Screener AI, we have tried to, these tools are very powerful, but it's very hard to use them actually. And that's where on Screener, we try to make it very easy for everyone. That prompt that you said, that prompt engineering, learning prompt engineering. So all those things have been taken care of. Which model should I use? That's a common question every day. New models comes up. Grok is doing wonderful thing, ChatGPT, everyone is doing. So we optimize all of those things, make it simple, make it easy, and provide it access to those official documents so that it can, instead of worrying on how to upload the documents and provide and how to ask questions around those documents, those things are automatically taken care of and we can go ahead and just ask our questions on top of our mind. We can do the thinking job and get someone to answer them.
मैं पूछने वाला हूँ आप क्या क्वेश्चंस पूछते हो अपने ऐप पे, right? But सुमित, please come in और आप भी बताएं. I mean, how do you use AI in your investing process? Whether you use it on your own platform or on Perplexity or on XAI or ChatGPT or Screener, however.
First of all, thank you Neeraj and NDTV for the opportunity and happy Diwali everyone. So I'll go back a little into history, 10 years back. Sure. So the initial thought that I had in my mind was equity research back then was globally pretty much a very manual process. So there were analysts who were consuming information from various databases, bringing them to an Excel sheet, making DCF or various other models, adding some macro layer on top of it, adding technicals to it, and eventually identifying, okay, which are the stocks should be a part of my portfolios. Now, I realized that over the last 20-25 years, the amount of data that is available has increased multi-times. That's point number one. The second is, the correlations between market. So back in the 90s, or even 2000s, early 2000s, whatever happens in India were the impacting factors for the Indian market, not anymore now. So anything happens even in the smallest of the country where India trades with, we have an impact in our market. So it has become super important for us to understand the cross-market correlations. Now that increases your data by X number of times. So now humanly, it is impossible to ingest so much of data, understand, process it. That's where AI comes into picture. So back in 2016, when I started Jarvis, we initially started building on the Indian markets, multiple correlations of how a sector would perform, how a particular stock within a sector would perform. Today, we look at about 10 global markets beyond India. And we have got a very beautiful, model built in for a cross-market correlation, not just India. And in terms of usage, so we don't provide research to the users, we provide the end outcome. So we are a part of the outcome. So we are, you can say we are the alpha for you. So irrespective whether it's a retail investor or it's a portfolio manager or an asset management company. So we cater to this entire range of investors.
So Sumit, आप कैसे use करते हो? Do you use AI for bottom-up research? Do you use AI for cross-market correlations, top-down research? How do you use it personally, let's say?
I would say it is more of a, not a bottom-up, but it's a mix of multiple models. Because there are various ways. So because if I just follow one model, then it's replication of human behavior. It's moreover a robotic process automation and not an AI. But an AI would be able to identify its own patterns, and we have to train the system to identify patterns, and then it can run multiple simulations to come out with certain.
But वो तो आपका काम है, right? As a provider.
Yeah.
मैं सोच रहा हूँ. So let's assume, okay, I'm asking you, if I'm the user of your product, let's say, or I'm using Perplexity or I'm using Screener, right?
Yeah.
How would how should I use it ideally? You would have gone through these iterations, right?
Absolutely.
Top down research के लिए ज़्यादा important है, bottom up के लिए कैसा है? आप कैसे use करते हो?
Top down के लिए है, I would say. But we neither use Perplexity, no GPT, nothing. We have our own models, own infrastructure, because we had started building this model when none of these were there.
Superb. Okay.
So, and today if you look at all of these models also, I would say, obviously when they came, we also tried because that would have eased up our job. But it just doesn't work. It does not have the contextual intelligence. I would say, hallucinates with the data. Plus, we don't even know the data source. So I wouldn't risk $100 million to be traded based on the recommendations of a Perplexity or a GPT. But so that's where we need our own models, which are specifically trained for the equity markets or any other market, commodities, FX, and everything. So that's where we have even added the explainability layer, which was otherwise missing from AI for all these years. Even we didn't have, about 3 years back, but now we have it. So we can fairly explain what happens within our system. So from an end user's perspective, what we give them is the recommendations from a retail's perspective, and from an institution's perspective, we can manage this entire piece, including risk management system for them.
Okay, guys, so I'm trying to make this more widespread for anybody who's either using your products or any other product, right? And therefore, before I come to Ayush, Pratyush to you, because Ayush keeps on telling me that ये सारा AI का जो कांड है वो प्रत्युष ने किया है, right? So on screener that is. So am I right, Ayush?
Yeah. So I'm the most technologically handicapped person in our team, and Pratyush's effort is to make me use it, and that is what he keeps trying to do. And if I get to use it, then we believe that everyone can use it. That is what our aim is. So yeah,
okay, so I'm going to come to you as an end user as well, but Pratyush, I'll come to you because मेरे हिसाब से आपका शायद इनसे थोड़ा अलग होगा यूजेज, क्योंकि आप शायद बॉटम अप पे ज्यादा करते हो, राइट? सो हाउ डज एन एवरेज पर्सन make the best use of AI, whether on Screener or on Jarvis or wherever else, whichever platform they are using? आपके हिसाब से कैसे यूज करना चाहिए? आप कैसे यूज करते हो?
I use it as a private counselor. मेरे पास आज एक पर्सन है जिसके पास मैं कुछ भी बहुत बेवकूफ़ी भरे सवाल भी पूछ सकता हूँ और कुछ भी पूछ सकता हूँ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ भैया इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अ कंपनी लाइक से HBL एंड ही सेइंग दैट उसको कवच का ऑर्डर मिला या कुछ मिला. फॉर मी कवच इज जस्ट मतलब मेरे को उसका ABCD भी नहीं पता. सो आई गो हेड एंड फर्स्ट आस्क ओके व्हाट हैपेंड इन दिस कंपनी, व्हाई दिस द नंबर्स चेंज ऑफ दिस कंपनी. Then it says that, okay, it got an order for Kavach and those things. Then I ask, okay, Kavach hai kya? What is Kavach? Why is it unique? Why is only this company having this particular technology? How did they work on this? And like this, those sessions start proceeding. And it can be like for pharma, this was something which was very tough for me to understand. Like what is ANDAs, what is all these approvals and different things. Yes. So
I like the term ANDA, by the way. But okay.
So, I asked it like many people say that intermediates are like just another chemical company. So it helps me in understanding that why is any API manufacturer different from a chemical manufacturer? What are the differentiations? How this industry works? And from there I start getting to the next question. Okay, then how is this applicable to this company? What this company is doing? Also for like when till now on Screener we were able to glance the numbers very quickly, but to understand why those numbers changed, why the margin increased from 10% to 15%, was it a temporary shift, was it a permanent shift? Now I have someone who can do that work for me, go into those documents and provide me answers by referring to those announcements, con call transcripts, presentations and everything. And that's where these models are very helpful.
Amazing. So Ayush, मैं आपको पूछता हूँ because I'm presuming you started using at the behest of Pratyush. You started using AI, right? So आप क्या करते हो? जैसे प्रत्युष ने बोला कि is there a string of questions कि भाई मैंने पूछ लिया कि ये clinical trial, अच्छा let's say margins, किसी कंपनी के margins increase हो गए. So why did they increase? Then you ask a follow-up question and the string remembers all of those questions and thereby eventually gives me a final answer. Is that how you are using it?
So maybe to answer that, I'll take you through what we have done at Screener. So basically...
But I would urge you, all three of you, to kind of broad base the thing, not just to your own platforms, but to have an average person can use any platform. But you can take the example of Screener. Yes.
So basically, what is the key thing that AI does? AI is very, very powerful because it can go through huge amount of data, whatever the maximum amount of data which is out there, that is it can process in a very quick amount of time period and give you a very structured outcome. And day by day, what we are seeing is that the models are getting better and better and smarter. They are getting that intelligence wherein you get the wow factor when you run queries. If you ask it a simple question, then also it is able to give you some intelligent insight which you were looking for. So that is what is happening with when you use AI. At Screener, what we have done is that we have tried to, we had the benefit of having all the data that we were collating on all the companies, whatever, the annual report, the official announcements, documents, whatever they are filing, the credit rating reports. So it is getting that whole base on the document to get started with, and then it will go on the web and do the additional searches that you want to do. So first, the biggest benefit is that you're getting to work on factual data and facts and not hallucinate. Like Sumit was mentioning that one of the problem in the AI models is that it hallucinates a lot. So this is one thing that we have been able to safeguard against. And like Pratish is saying, use it like your friend or an assistant, wherein whatever basic question comes to your mind, like when a company, somebody tells me about a company, then the first question I'll go and run is, please explain me what does this company do? And it will give me a good summary that, okay, these are the key products, these are the key customers, this is where they do their business, this is how the business has grown. And then reading that, I'll put up some follow-up questions. Okay, tell me what this product is, like Pratish mentioned about a company. So what is this coverage? Then I can ask even tougher questions. Okay, who are the bigger global players? How big is this opportunity? Who are the real competitors? So you can go on and on. The power of AI is that it is limitless. You know, you have to really think out of the box, or you have to really be creative. You don't need to hold yourself. You can, when I talk to my users or people who have been using it, I'm amazed with the kind of use case they have. Like somebody might build a detailed valuation model for next 3 years, 5 years, which was a job which you take at least a week or 10 days. If I had to prepare a summary of all the con call transcript of our last, in fact, this is where we started using AI first. Like as more and more companies, I'm an investor who likes to be having a very diversified portfolio, and I like tracking at least maybe 500 names. So
500, huh?
At least, yeah.
At least, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So to be updated about them, I have to go through so many announcements and data which come. The first meaningful use case was the summary of transcripts. Now, if you had to read one transcript, it used to be 15, 20 pages long. Today, with the click of a button, I'm able to get a summary which is so meaningful, which gives me even quotes of the management which it considers very important. And trust me, I've stopped reading any of the transcripts. Rarely. So that is the power of AI. And along with other use cases, maybe you want to add or something, maybe Sumit, in reference to this, like... humongous, whatever you want to do.
So are you guys able to trust the output that is being given by various AI models? Let's say, for example, con call summaries, right? Is the output given by AI, any model, is that trustworthy? Sumit, can I ask you, how much do you trust this to trust your $100 million investment that you spoke about?
Yeah, so I think there's a process of validation. So, I mean, anything that comes out might not be trusted at the first go, but it's a process. Process of training, retraining the machine, and eventually getting into that accuracy mode. So I think eventually a lot of our models today we can, we have validated, we can trust on it. But just expanding beyond this, the call transcription and everything. A lot of other, few of the other sources for us are also very, I would say, unique sources. For example, the Chambers data. Or anything that comes up in journals, business journals, internationally also for that matter. Sometimes some of these information also becomes super important from a user's perspective for us, at least from the research side of it. So we are the researchers here in our case. So in these cases, we really go top down, wherein we first try and understand an industry or a specific theme or a product or a component of a product, and then go deep dive into region, industry, which stock, how much is it, whether it's the right time, and get into it.
Sumit, एक example दीजिए, चलिए. Give me an example of how you use this for doing a top-down research for a sector which is global. Let's say if you studied semiconductors or you studied rare earth metals. So how did you use AI to drill down to the particular part of the sector, then the company, and if there was an India chapter attached to it?
Absolutely. So first of all, we would look at, the availability of these rare earth materials currently in China, majorly. Then we would look at what...
So you used AI to ask that, tell us which are the rare earth materials which are available in China, which might have an export ban, for example.
No. So So we don't have a model which is very similar to a screener wherein we
which is fine.
have an opportunity to ask, but it is we ingest the information and it's the core Jarvis engine which becomes intelligent enough to answer these things. Now, when I say answer, it's not answer to us, answer the further steps. So, so the first thing is we would look at which are the regions who has this. Second would be what are the use cases and how big could be the use cases. Not immediately, but maybe for the next 2 years or 3 years, like EV 5 years back, for example. Then we would get into regions. So, which in case I just mentioned as China. Then we would look at, okay, which are the stocks and what are they doing? Are there any smaller companies, maybe within the same region or any other region who are doing something similar but at a very small scale? They have an opportunity to grow multi-times rather than already a $30 billion company. So that's the process that we do. Then once we identify the region, industry and company, we go qualitative. So we look at the management and many other things from a fundamental research point of view. Lastly, we look at the timings from a quant or a technical perspective. That also depends upon what's the product. So if I'm building a long only product, I don't care. But if I'm looking at a positional product, then probably I would care. That's how it goes.
Okay, but this is something that I guess any fundamental analyst would also pursue the process, whether on AI or otherwise,
Absolutely.
right? Simple. You want to add something to this, Ayush?
So like specific to this use case that you asked, I'll give a very recent example that we did actually on whole of it on AI. It was nothing manual that we had to do. So like we came across an opportunity in the battery energy storage system. Like this is a big buzzword which is being talked about today. There's a huge growth potential, but I knew nothing about it. Absolute nothing. Simply by spending maybe 15-20 odd minutes on an AI platform, I could gather data, what BESS is, what are